The Harris County Sexual Assault Response Team says less than 10% of all sexual assaults are reported to law enforcement officers. In 2 hours, officers will release a report on the state of assault in our area. Joining me now is Deputy CEO and Presiding Officer over SART, Sonia Corrales. Good morning, Sonia.
Good morning.
So I want to start by acknowledging the case I just spoke about. It's extremely disturbing and takes a lot of courage for a survivor like this young teenager to speak out, to go to authorities.
Oh, absolutely. I think overall, when we talk about sexual violence and sexual assault, is that many people are afraid to come forward. We know that sexual assault is a very underreported crime, and there's a lot of reasons why people don't come forward. And one of them is that they may be afraid that they're not going to be believed. They may be afraid that they're going to get blamed, for the assault, or they may be afraid of retaliation from the person who assaulted them.
A lot of emotions, including fear. Here in Harris County, when a survivor reports an incident to law enforcement, talk to us about how SART goes about getting involved.
So one of the things that we want to talk about today is, of course, the state of sexual assault in our community, but also to talk about this Harris County Sexual Assault Response Team. And the Sexual Assault Response Team is a team that is both government and non-governmental agencies, and it has multiple disciplines. And what we have done is establish these protocols or these guidelines or these agreements where we all are committed to ensuring that our response to sexual assault is respectful, and it really is focused on that survivor, coming forward. So we want to make sure that when anybody comes forward, whether they come to law enforcement or any of the community agencies, that they are treated with respect and dignity, and that they are believed. So as they access resources in the community or navigate, criminal justice systems, that they know exactly what they're doing, and that all of us are working together to ensure that that person gets their needs met.
Yeah, making an overwhelming situation not so overwhelming. I know your team has stated the system needs improvements to ensure offenders are held accountable. Elaborate on this for us.
So, we made a lot of recommendations. One of the things that we found as we met, with all of the partners is that we definitely have a lot of strengths, in our community in Harris County, but we also have limitations in our response to sexual assault. And some of the recommendations include there's a need for an increase in collaboration. We communicate with each other. Many of us have longstanding relationships. I am with the Houston Area Women's Center, so we're a community-based organization and have developed these relationships over the years. But one of the things that we know is that we really need to deepen that collaboration and work better together to ensure that any survivor who is coming forward is treated with dignity and respect. Another one is, of course, something that you talked about, which is the increase in offender accountability. We know that case outcomes related to sexual assault are not great, right? So we want to make sure that increases as well. And part of what happens with a lot of sexual assault survivors is that when they come forward, they feel like they're going to be blamed, because the truth is that society still blames victims of sexual assault. And so we want to make sure that when anybody engages in any system, that they are not blamed for what has happened to them. And so really shifting the focus of the accountability to the offender and not the victim. This is really the only crime where the credibility of that survivor is questioned. And so we want to make sure that we change that. The other thing that we want to do is approach it as a community, and that we all are working together towards the same goal. So the Harris County SART does have a vision, and we have a mission, and we all have to work towards that goal, and of course follow the guidelines. Of course, there's a lot of legislation, so part of the recommendation as well is to make sure that we're following that legislation, that we work hard to get to ensure that we're protecting survivors of sexual assault. Those are just a few.
Yeah, all good things. I know in about 2 hours you will be releasing a report about assault in Harris County. What can we expect to learn from this report?
I think, a lot of things that are in the report are basically the protocols, right? So we have developed and agreed to these protocols, but also included in the report, you're going to see information that many of us already know, and maybe the community doesn't know, but that sexual assault is prevalent in our community, that it happens by someone that the victim knows most of the time, and that it's underreported. And so, and what contributes to all of that? And so, and then including in this report are those recommendations that I talked about.
And for people needing to get in touch with SART, we of course will put that information inside this article on our website, clicktohouston.com. But if people need immediate help, your recommendations, your suggestions for those folks.
So in Houston and Harris County, the Houston Area Women's Center is the largest rape crisis center here. And so anyone can reach out for help. We have a 24-hour hotline and we have a chat, 713-528-7273. The surrounding areas also have sexual assault programs in Pasadena and Humble and in Webster. And so you can reach out to those organizations as well. So we know that sexual violence is a very traumatic experience, and we want people to know that they can come forward, they can talk to an agency, and we will help them navigate the systems if that's what they choose to do. But in the meantime, we will provide the support that they need to make sure that they can move forward and get the tools that they need.
Yeah, Sonia Corrales, Deputy CEO and Presiding Officer over SART. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I know it's cold out there, so stay warm.